right now. Okay, so let's get into some modeling tools. So I have my cube right now, and we'll go down the list. So they're Booleans, and I'm going to tell you I don't really use these, but just to show you how they work, if I click on this, Control D, and I have two of these, and I'm going to turn this, let's say. If I go to Mesh, Booleans, and I go to Union, and I press 4, what happened was is it joined these shapes together. And I'm going to press 4 for wireframe, 5 for solid. So now this and this are joined. Now the problem with this is that it causes ingons, right? And remember what ingons are? The four or more. I mean, I'm sorry, 5 or more sides. So if I go to vertex, 1, 2, like for this face. Oh, let's just go to the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here. So it's no good. Look at that. It's just not the way to right way to model. Because certain people will get into like a tutorial or something, and I fully support that you going online, and looking up ways to do things. But they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know how to do something," and they'll use the Boolean, and they'll feel like really good about it, and it's like, nah, I gotta hurt your feelings and be like, no, this is the wrong way to model because it's not really modeling. It can be okay if you're doing like something like this, and like let's say you wanted to join these together, and I'm just gonna screenshot this or something like that. Fine, but like when it comes to like modeling and trying to animate this would never ever work. Okay. Let's just forget it. I'll just make another one. Let's go to sphere now. So this booleans combine and separate. All right. So if we want to, there's two ways to do things. We can group objects and we can combine them. So if I want to do this, Control D, I have two of these, and let's say I want to move them both at the same time. Yeah, I could do this. I could, move this, or I can move it this way. If I wanted to like rotate them or something, yeah, they'll rotate independently. But and if I want to group them, which is Control G, I have them in a group, and on a move, that's fine, or rotate, that's fine. And what's cool about group is that I can go in right now and choose one of these independently and, scale, and then I can go back to the group. And just for a tip, I can click the top of the group and I have the group, or what I can do is I can select one of the objects, right? So let's say I have a whole bunch of objects here, right? But if I select, let's just make another one just to do it. Control D, and I'll move this one here. So look at this. I have 3 in that stack right there. Let me just make this like this. So if I have these 3 objects and I move them in the group, it means I can move one independently. And let's say if I want to have it like this now, and if I want to get the whole group, all I got to do is press the up key. Um, I don't know what y'all's keyboards look like, or how it looks like on the Mac or whatever. I'm just not sure. I can't picture it right now. But if you press the up arrow, you get the whole entire group. So you can select one thing, press the up arrow, you get the whole group. Select this, press the up arrow. So just always know that if you have a group. All right. So that's my group. If I do Control D, I have the second group right here. And you know what? Just for sake of this, I'm gonna hide the rest of these. And to hide objects, we just select them and we press H, right? And then they're ghosted out right here. If we want to bring, let's say I want to bring one of them back, I just select it and press H, H. Am I bugging? H. What did I? Am I tripping? All right, I don't know what I did here. All right, so let's say for this group right here, I'll select it, press H, and I can hide it. And let's say you have all of these selected, and I press H, and because it's like a combination of both of these groups, the things that were hidden. So these are hidden in this group. I deleted that group by accident. So these are hidden, and then one of these is hidden in this group. If I want to see everything, I have to go over here to display, show, and then all. And now everything's back here. All right. So if you ever like go through here and you have this like a mix match selection of things that are like uh hidden and showing, you just go over to display, show, or you could do last hidden too, but if you do show all, it all comes back. All right. So let me just hide one of these. So let's go down the list. Oh yeah. So when it comes to combine, this is what I want to talk to you about before. I want to check this out. Since these are in a group, well, let me just press H to get them out of the group. Since these are in a group right now, let's say I wanted to get them out of the group. Or let's say I wanted to take one object out of this group. I just middle mouse button, click, and I hold, and you see like there's a little box. If it's just one line, that means it's going to go in between where the one line is, right? So I middle mouse button, click, and I go right here. And this can be kind of funny sometimes. Like I'm trying to get it in between this and it's acting weird. I think it put it in the other group. So what I'll just do is I'll just drag it all the way to the top. So I'm making sure that it's outside of that group. So just, I guess that's the safest way to do it. So I'll just grab this middle mouse button, click, and I'll take it out. And I'll take the rest of these out. I'll take out these two at a time. So I'm grabbing two of them. I'm pulling them out. So now we have these that are outside the group. All right. So when it comes to combine, I'm going to take two of these right now. Well, I'll take all of them, right? And so this is a group right here. And let's say I want to make these all one object. What I can do is I can go over here to mesh and I can go to combine, or what I can do is do shift right click and I can go to combine. Now, one thing to know that shift right click has all the tools in it, right? So I'll do shift right click. I'll go to my combine, and now all of these are one object, right? So when I select one, they're all light up. And you see right here, they get like, they're called polysphere 4. What were they called before? Just so I can see. Okay, so this is what it did. It took, since they're all spheres, it took the last one, and then it said, all right, since there's sphere 1, 2, 3, if I do a shift right click, combine, oh, naming it 4 now, right? And now what I can do is I can just, I can give this a different name. I just named it blah, right? I can do something like that if I want, to keep organized, which is always good. All right. Let's say now I wanted to take one of the objects out of here. I right click, go to face, and I can double click on this, and I can do shift right click, and then I can do extract faces, right? Now this little thing comes up. I don't really mess with this control right here or this, or I don't mess with this stuff, right? I just do the extract faces. I press Q to quit, and now I select this because remember these were combined, and now this one's independent. I named it blah, right? And look at what it did. It basically gave us a group, and it separated these within the group. Okay. Fill hole, right? Now, how this works is, let's say I have one of these polygons that's deleted. I can fill the hole, right? I right click, I go to edge, and I double click on the edge. So when you double click and it highlights 4 edges, that's a good thing, right? And you do shift right click, and we can go to fill hole. So remember, shift right click has all the good stuff in it, right? But the thing with fill hole is if I do this and I delete this, right? And then I do double click and I do shift right click and I go to fill hole, right? It fills it, but now this is what you call the engon, because instead of this being it looks like a polygon, but it's deceiving because if I go to edge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a bad thing. But that brings me to something, right? Which is called well, this knife tool right here. So if I click on this knife tool, right, it works in a various different ways, but in this situation, as you can see, it gets close to the vertex. Now, if I want to bridge these, I mean, not bridge, well, I guess it's kind of like bridging an edge. So I'll click on this, it's highlighting this point. I'll click left click one time, and then I'll bring it to over here. And you see how it like turns into like a little square, like the little square, not this square that it's on right now, but it's a little tiny square. Click it. So that means it's connected, and you press enter to seal the deal. And now it's good, right? Now we have a polygon again, all right? So something else with this tool, this knife tool, let me get myself a cylinder. This is also how it works. It gets edge loops. So let me get a cube as well. And what I mean by edge loops is this, right? This cylinder is fresh, so I can still go over here and give it some subdivisions. So if I put in edge mode, right click edge mode. Let me see multi. I'll try to use this. And I double click on this and I have this edge that I can move. Um, let's say I shift right click and I delete this edge because this is how you delete the edge. So we still have clean polygons. And I want to add my own edge here or loop, right? Without using the tools it came with. It's just specific to what I want to do. So I'll click on the knife, and right now it's in this single mode where it's like just snapping to the closest vertice. I want it to be a band around the center. So I'll hold down control and I have this now. So now I'm holding down control and I'm getting an edge loop. So now I can just click, 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 and it goes along, it makes a loop along the edge. Same thing going this way. And I click on this. Cool. Now check this out. This is all right here because this right here is a triangle, and a triangle, all it is half of a polygon. So it's all good, you know. So triangles are always cool. But then right here, it's uh it's a triangle, but it also has this extra point. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this right here is a polygon, and this right here is a triangle, but this one's totally fine, even though that's right there. So it still works, even though it looks exactly like the other ones. So, okay. Oh, and also something about edge loops. Like, let's say I want to get this whole loop right here of edges. I can do it like 3 different ways, right? I can click on one face, hold down shift, double click on the next face, and now I have this whole band, right? So that's one way. Another way to do it is I'm gonna press 4 just so I can see. When you get good, you can just like know when you're doing it. Like, let me show you. Like, let's say I want to grab this one. I can just take this box, select it, and I know I got the whole thing without anything extra. but that's because I've been doing it for a while. But you should press 4 and do it. So you just highlight it, because anywhere that this hits, it'll select those polygons. There's certain programs like the one I was using before, Cinema 4D, where you have to like actually encapsulate the whole polygon. But in this program, we get everything. So if you just want that one loop, you get it like that. So those three ways: click, double click, uh, select it this way, or you can select the whole thing. Let's say, oh, yeah, we can select the whole bunch of them. Press 4 and hold down Control, and then just deselect, and you'll have the same thing. Let me go to, let me see, mesh, fill hole, reduce, smooth. Smooths will come later. Edit mesh, add divisions, bridge. Okay. So when it comes to bridging, this is how this works. Oh, let me do some more edge loop on this, just show you. So if I take this, hold down Control, we'll have, this, this, this. Yeah. So just to show you how it works in the cube, and then we can do something like Control E. So let's just say I want to extrude this. I think I told you about this. So there's I guess two ways to extrude. You can click on it, and I can click on this like icon right here and get my extrude, which is cool. But the fast way to do it is to click on it. Well, I think these are the two fastest way. So the first way I'd say to remember things is just to do Shift right click, because Shift right click, because it's on face mode, extrude is right here. So all these tools have to do with the name that they're associated with. So since this is face mode, it's saying wedge face, bevel face, face normals, poke face. All those are there, right? If I go to edge mode and I do Shift right click, bevel edge, soften edge, extrude edge. So all the edge stuff, Shift right click. Or anything that's in the whatever component you're on. Vertex, same thing. Shift right click, merge vertex, chamfer, delete vertex. So everything is there. So just let me just do this. Just do it. Control E, and just clicked it. Oh yeah, and Control E is a shortcut for extrude. So Control E or Shift right click, but Shift right click has everything in it. All right, so I did that to do this. I'm gonna do Control D. So I have two of these things, right? Now let's just say I want to take this face right here and attach it to this face, right? We need to bridge these. Now to bridge an object, they both need to be combined, right? And to combine, select both of them, Shift right click, combine. Now this menu is just for, well, I guess it has faces attached to it, but if I go to face mode and I shift right click, it's wedge face, multi-cut, division of faces, a whole bunch of face stuff. But if I'm in object mode and I select these, shift right click, well, let's just select one. Yeah, it's the same thing with both. We have tools just for the objects in general, even though extrude's there. So just so you know that. What I have to do is combine them. So I'm gonna select both of them, shift right click. I'll do a combine, right? Now how this works is this. We have to select, so let's say I want to select, I want to bridge these two faces. I select one face there. I shift select this face, shift right click. Where is it? Shift right click is here. Oh, right here. Bridge faces. Now I'm there. And now we have this menu. So it has divisions, which adds divisions to the bridged faces. Taper ain't gonna work in this. Twist might work. Yeah. So twist will do that if I wanted to do that, which I never have found a reason to do that. But just so you know, it's there. Let's take it back. I guess if it comes out twisted, you can kind of adjust it this way too. I don't really mess with these over here. Never really done it. Yeah. But that's how you bridge. Then after that, like let's say you want a little bit more control, we can like, select something like this. And if we want to move something like this, we want to scale it like this. Okay. So those are the bridge tools. Um, and just to show you how they work some more, Control D, I'll move this out. All right, so we just did one face before. Let's say I want to do two faces, right? So I can select these right here, and then, oh, remember, I have to combine them. So I'll select all of these right here, shift right click, combine. Now they're good to be bridged. So I'll just do this. Let's say I select these two. I want to bridge it over here. So it has to be the same amount of faces. So it can't be like three over here and one over here. That will not work. Shift right click, bridge is bridged. Cool. And then I press Q to quit, and it's all good. But now I'm gonna do Control Z. What if I wanted to get this face over here? I'm gonna right click, click on face, shift. So I have that. I'm pressing shift. So these two faces, well, I can even do, they're kind of opposite. You see how this one's like skinnier, and then this one over here is well, I guess the edge faces are kind of like mixed matched because this one will go to this one, and this face will go to this face. So shift right click, bridge faces, but it's all fine because it's the same amount of faces. And if you look right here, you see how the wider face is tapering down to go to the smaller face. So see, it works. Just to do it, I'm gonna select these two. Well, you know what? Select these two. Bridge. And then, since I did that one time, I can press Q to quit. I'll press Q to quit just as a good measure. I'll click on this one, shift click on this one. Now I could do shift right click bridge and it would be no problem. Or I could press G to repeat the tool. Because once you press G, the tool repeats. I don't know if why that lit up right here though. So I'll just do this instead. I'll click it, go to face, click on that, shift, click on this, and I'll press G. Yeah, I think it might have done something when I clicked it again and this highlighted again. So I guess just press Q to quit. But anytime you want to repeat a tool, just press G. So if I want to make this taller, I can click on this, shift. So I'm clicking on this. I'm doing Control E, and I'm dragging up, right? And if I want to repeat that tool, since I've already dragged it up to where I want, I can give it a division, right? Let's give it 2 or 3 for fun. And I'll press G again, and it scales. I mean, it activates that tool again. So I could do the same thing here. On these, G, thickness. Oh, and if I hold down control, I get control when I move these. But if I don't have down control, then it's wow. And look, it's going in, it's black, and that's not a good thing right here. All right. This next tool. All right, mesh, attach, extrude, flip, spin, duplicate. Poke. Okay. Poke is this, right? Let's say I had nothing here. Well, I guess all right, this is my cylinder, of course. And if I go right here and I select this, I'm gonna press 4 just so you see what I'm doing. I'm holding down control, and then I'm pressing 5. All right. So I have these faces right here highlighted. I'm gonna press delete to delete them. Now poke is just for this. Well, this is the only time I need to use it. If I select this edge right here, and we were talking about fill hole, if I do shift right click, fill hole, then that fills this, right? Now, this is what poke does. Because this right here is an N-gon, 5 or more, what I need to do is I'll select it, click it, and I'll do shift right click, and I'll go to, where's that? Poke face. And what it does is it takes that face and makes that N-gon into, not an N-gon, it gives it the triangle. So we're back to normal now. So that's the only time I've known how to use poke face. Y'all might, find another use for it somewhere else, but or on your own research somewhere, but that's the only use I know for it. Let me see. Wedge, mesh tools, pins, crease, create polygon, make a hole. No, I don't really use those. Average conform, hard. I think I've gotten through most of those tools. Well, the main ones that we'll be using. Yeah. Okay. Here's some other ones since we're talking about some tools. There is a tool called Smooth right here, and I'll show you what this does. So I have this thing selected right here that I made um just so I can see a little better. I think I'll zoom it up. It's okay. So we have this right here, and I will smooth it, right? So go to mesh, smooth, and there's a little option box right here. Whenever you see this box, this is means it has, so whatever the settings it's set as, if you click this, it'll give you whatever that is. This lets you adjust it. So if I click this right here, this little option box, it's gonna say division levels. Um and another thing, this box right here, it has these 3 buttons. So I think this one is apply plus close. So if you click on this, it applies whatever you put here, and then it closes the box too. So I press smooth, and it closes it. All right. I'll do Control Z. Now let me do it one more time, and I'll click on this, and I'll click on the smooth, and I'll click this. Now, if I just click on apply, it keeps the box open. All right. So I can go back and Control Z or whatever I need to do, or if I wanted to put it on 2 and apply, see what it's doing. If I want to put it back 1, oh no, it doesn't do that. It won't go backwards. So just so you know, that's what it's doing. Linearly, see what it's doing. I think this is the best one. So I don't really go through these settings too much if I do a smooth, but just so you know what it's doing, it's kind of this is what you call subdivision. So if I'll press Q to quit right now. So right now, 1 is, think about it like this. Well, this is how I like to think about it. 1 is like hard mode, right? 2 shows hard and soft at the same time, but 3 is soft. So think about 1 is hard, 3 is soft, right? Now, the way I like to think about this is like if is as if this was ice, right? So I think about it like it's an ice sculpture. This is like ice cubes in ice tray. They're in there and they're like this. They have hard edges, and this is what they are. Now, if I was to melt them, like imagine, or let's say like a water balloon, right? So this is like if I had a frozen water balloon and I froze it in this shape, right? So let's just say the little plastic or whatever rubber that the water balloon is, it's right there. Now, if I take it out of the freezer or a cold environment or whatever, and I press three, it's kind of like melting down. All right, it's kind of like collapsing. So instead of having a hard shape, because it's in a water balloon, it's like kind of like relaxing a whole lot, and it loses some of its shape. And then I like to think about these edges like wires, like a coat hanger, let's say, right? So let's say there's like a coat hanger type of wire attached to the water balloon. And then when it relaxes, it kind of just relaxes. So if there's more edges, it won't relax as easily. And I'll show you what I mean. So you see, if I press three, this is simple to understand, right? Because it's just a cube and it's just extruded over. I'll do this one, right? So it's just a simple box, but it's bridged, I should say, not extruded. So if I press three, we see what it's doing. Now, if I go in here and grab my knife and I hold down control and I put a control, I mean, a edge right here, and I press three, you see how it's holding it better than this one? So it's holding it tight because it's like melting, but because that extra wire there, or I was trying to think about it like as a hanger. That's the best way I know how to think about this is like ice and water balloons, right? So it's relaxed, so it's there. And the closer two edges are, the closer that shape holds, right? So right here, if I hold down control and I click and I press three, it's holding even better. So let's look at this side compared to over here, where it looks real sloppy, all right? Now, if I press two, so this is one, this is three. If I press two, I can see both modes at the same time, which can be helpful in certain situations. If I hold down control, I can see that I'm moving on the hard edge. And if I click it, I can see how it updates. So if I press one, so it's always good to go press like one and three if you're doing something that requires subdivisions. Now, the only things that really require subdivisions are like, I guess, more higher resolution objects. Like, let's say these are some buildings or some bridge, and we're all the way over here. Let me get myself a grid just to make things a little more interesting. Object mode, scale out. I could just go like this or something. So that's a bridge, and I'm all the way over here. It's kind of fine that this is like in this mode right here because we're not really that close. So certain things, depending on the distance and the camera, it'll be okay. But if I got closer, it doesn't look so good because it's got like the hard edge. And that's where something where like bevel would come into play. So I would select all these. Well, speaking of bevel, check this out. If I do Control D and I move this, this will work because it's like cubes. But if I press Control D, so we have two of these things. If I go to the edge mode and I select all of these edges, shift right click and go to bevel edge, and so we can see my little bevel. And for bevels, always do two or more. You know what the fraction does. The fraction makes it tighter or looser, all right? Let me do this. All right. So when I get closer, you see how this edge right here with the bevel is nice and smooth compared to this hard one right here. So if I'm far away, yeah, that even looks a little bit, better, but it wouldn't matter. It just depends on the situation. Because if this was like a building or something, or let's say a bridge really far away, it kind of wouldn't matter so much. But when we get up close, we want to see kind of nicer edges. And when it comes to video game, this will be more video game because you don't want to have the extra edges here. It's they give you a budget of polygons. I'm gonna try to find these levels I made in this video game. Um, but so what I had to do for this project is I had to I had a budget of 2,000 polygons. So I had to make like a whole room with a bed, and I had to make this hospital room. I had like little um bags of saline and curtains and all these things. And I had to do it with 2,000 polygons. Now, just to give you an idea, if I click on this right here has 348 faces, right? So this will be 348 out of my 2,000. Now, because of this one with the extra beveled edge, I click on this and it is 5,568. So my whole scene would have doubled, almost tripled using this. But that's just like the difference between Pixar movie, or movie in general, and video game. So that's just heads up. Yeah, and so now that I have this, and if I press 1 to 3, because these edges are so close to each other, that's why this whole thing stays together. So if I press 3 for these melt. If I press 1 to 3 on these, it stays the same because of the edges. So the edges will keep your shape true to its form. And the same thing happens with a cube. So if I take this cube right here and I scale this up, right? If I press 3, it turns into a sphere because it relaxes, right? Now, if I were to take this knife right here and put an edge right there, press 3, it holds that edge. I'll do it right here too. Let's see what happens. It holds that edge here. See? Now we have this. The way I'd really like to do it is press this, and we'll just get a bevel. So to do that, I just go to edges, select everything, shift right click, bevel edge, go to the fraction, hold down control. Now if I press 3 now, because I have that extra edge, it doesn't like collapse too hard. But like I said, segments 2 or more, I think is the best way to go. I'll press 3. Look at what I have. Object mode. So 1, and look at this. It's in hard mode. If I click off, because I put the extra edges there, it gives it the illusion that it's soft still. So just so we can see this a little better, I'll do Control D. Now I'll press 3 for this one, and this one is 1. But look at the look. It still looks the same. So basically more edges give it more roundness.